Hi, I'm Chris from airwindows, and I have something that's rather highly anticipated, and it is called PurestDrive. Yeah, PurestDrive is now out, and I can demonstrate for you how amazingly intense it is by turning it on and off. Okay, let me explain a little more about what's going on here. PurestDrive is part of the Purest series of airwindows plugins. The idea was to get a really high resolution signal path, like long double 80 or 100 bit length, and do the noise shaping to the floating point bus, do all this kind of stuff that I do to keep the sound quality right, and explore the territory of minimal processing. PurestDrive is based on a sine function, which is the smoothest transfer function. And there's one other little detail in it. Part of the way that it does its thing, part of the way that it adds its transfer function curve, is by keeping track of the previous sample and doing it based on what the slew rate from the previous sample was. But it's doing it in a very subtle way. And this is why PurestDrive is not the same as, say, the single most transparent processing of this type would be Purest console channel. That is the super high resolution sine function distortion at about the same level, but with no interaction with the previous sample. But PurestDrive has something a little more going on. So what I'll do is try to demonstrate a little bit about what that's out. First of all, that is without anything. But if I put PurestDrive on at its fullest setting, what happens is there is this slight rounding, slight saturation. It's being done in a way that adds no digital grunge to speak of. It's really just about like an analog circuit in there. But there's also that effect of the previous sample coming into play, and that is altering the way the highs come across. So what I'm going to suggest you do is listen to, well, I'll just keep it going. No sense continuing to play that little bell tree thing. I'll turn it off and on. Fixate on the hi-hats and tambourines and things. Listen for the way that without PurestDrive, stuff will come forwards and be kind of spiky and sort of rigid, whereas you turn PurestDrive on and things will just congeal a little bit without making any kind of mess or mud or getting in the way. Here's raw digital. PurestDrive. There's that little sense of air around the highs. I'll turn it off. Now the highs come forwards in a digital way. They're accurate, but now here, check out that tambourine that just came in. I'm going to turn it off and play it again, and I'm going to kick it back in so you can hear what it does to that very bright tambourine. Listen to the way the jingles feel. Here it comes. Now. Just a little more sense of reality around these guys. I'll do that again. No PurestDrive. PurestDrive. it's really subtle. Some of these things are going to be really subtle, but if you hear what it was doing to those jingles, and tambourines are a very hard thing to get right. It'll go horribly wrong very easily. And PurestDrive is able to take what is a digital recording of tambourines and stuff and boop, get a little bit more dimensionality in there in a subtle way. It's subtle enough that you could use lots of instances of it. Here, I'll do exactly that. Here, there's 3 instances of it. 1, 2, 3. And you can tell it's not ruining anything. And I'll shut it back off. You can hear those highs, and I'll turn them on. What you'll get out of PurestDrive is a very, very, very subtle little saturation. And that works in a lot of ways. I mean, you can get very subtle saturations from all kinds of people, but this is with airwindows processing. And the high word length calculation, the fact that it's being done in long double, the sign generation is being done in long double. It's being kind of sort of dithered as noise shaped to the 32-bit floating point bus, and it's very minimal processing. So essentially what that means is you can get this slight addition of roundness, this slight texturing of the extreme highs that doesn't come naturally to digital. Like here's another one. Alien Kittens or this guy? How about this guy? Hear that hi-hat? It's got just a little bit more airy quality to it going on. Shut it off. Everything's slightly more fragmented than you can kind of bring it back in again using PurestDrive. So this is not as subtle as something like Purest Gain. It's part of this line that's designed to have the subtlest effects that you could ask for. And the usage of that previous sample coming into play brought it into a place where some people just swear by this plugin. They have been frantic for it to come out as VST and be available on PC and all that. And if you try it, it might be a little confusing if you're not used to having these really subtle kinds of things going on, because the fact is, if you're playing it and have it going on, you might very well have it at full crank and go, what's it doing? Although there are some things it is doing, like, see this? This is 3 dB. Actually, I can make it go full crank. Oh. That's at 1 dB. I'm monitoring it a little quieter. See, that's minus 0.3. If I turn it on, you just got a free dB of gain. You just got a free invisible dB of gain out of this puppy. So we stack that up in enough places and it can come out being kind of useful. This is not bad for, say, your Daft Punk French house kind of thing where you're trying to have it be a little bigger and fuller. Because since you've got, the, oh, come on, give me that back. Oh, here we go. You got minus 0.3 again. Kick it in, and we've got minus 1.4. So if we add a dB or so, we're still not clipping. We're not clipping anything, but we just got a bump from what was there before. And you can throw it in various places as well. It doesn't have to be just on the bus or something like that. You can use it in a variety of different sounds, and everything will become just a little bit fuller. And, like I just showed you, free dB again. Free 1.2 dB or so again. Actually, a little bit less than that. Free dB again. And the treble shaping that it does that makes stuff sound a lot less digital. Rumors of me doing a console version based on this are... Oh, I just revealed it. I'll talk to you later. Can't talk too much about presents that are yet to come. Oh, by the way, I'm supported by Patreon. It's going pretty good. The better it goes, the more I can do. So please kick in. And I'll talk to you later with more things that I can bring.